like a Nigerian chef, cried out after she was sexually harassed in public, and no one came to her aid in Aja. So she narrated how the whole thing happened.
I was going to the park to deliver something to my mom just now when one guy from this park right here, the guy assaulted me. He asked me if I was going. I said I am not going. The next thing, this guy started press on the road and hitting my hand. When I the guy back, the guy started beating me. He found me on the floor and hit my neck. He was pressing my neck. He almost strangled me here. And everybody here, all these men you see right here, all of them were standing and watching him beheaded and not do anything to it.
She said, this is what we go through as a girl child. You can't walk freely. It's very annoying and depressing. I wasn't wearing anything that would warrant this harassment. I didn't insult anyone. I didn't even speak to anyone. As a girl child, you can't walk freely on the road without being harassed. If I report this to the police, justice won't be served because they will keep demanding for money.
I mean, we are in a generation where people would rather record for evidence, and it's quite sad. So even speaking on her being sexually harassed, I think is something that I don't want to give statistics because I'm not too sure, but I know quite a number of ladies that have been, sexually harassed in public by men, in buses, even me in a bus. One guy was doing something really ridiculous, and I turned and I was like, and then he was like, you're actually even so safe. And then when I turned to, I openly said it in the bus, and people were like, but madam, I'm like, are you guys funny? Like, don't you people see anything wrong with this? It's quite sad, that she had to experience something like that. And like she said, if you go to police, you just keep on paying money.
They might even ask you, why did you also wear a tight skirt like that? Why did you wear
very annoying something? Well, very annoying.
I agree with you, Damie. I think this is the story of every Nigerian girl and woman at some point in time. It might not always be all the time and everywhere, but at some point, I bet that every Nigerian woman, who could tell a story, especially when you go to market, and I don't know what the government can do
don't get me started
about this. I remember Yaba Market those days.
It's not even those days until now.
There. You see men rush towards you. As young as 14, even as a teenager, they would do that to you.
They start grabbing you.
They'll start grabbing you, groping you. Even when they don't touch you, the kind of comments they make. They talk about every part of your body. They sexualize you just because you're walking on the road, and they laugh about it. That's the annoying thing. They laugh about it. People see you and they laugh about it.
And then when you make a complaint, they now insult you again. I say you don't even fight safe.
But the best way to just reduce all of that is to keep quiet and keep walking.
Keep moving.
Or run as fast as you can if that's what you can do at that point in time. If we were to be in a country where we have enough police officers, or we have more than enough police officers, then we could say we could have police officers trained on issues like this. At strategic locations, at those markets, those parks, so that when they see things like this happen, they can quickly caution the men involved. But I also want to generally advise our men, the best you can do, the whole idea of being a man is so that you can protect your women. Our men are supposed to protect us. You shouldn't be the one making us feel unsafe.
True.
I bet you, if you're walking on the road as a Nigerian woman and you know that there are about 7 men around you, no other woman, even if it's a public place, even if it's in broad daylight, I bet you'll be scared.
You don't feel comfortable.
You look left, right, and
even when you're in the bus and there's no
you
woman
look down.
in the bus.
Yes, you feel scared somehow that anything can happen to you. And I don't think that should be. As women, we should be allowed to live in a world where we feel safe. So I condemn this. And as Lagosians, I see us try to mind our businesses too often. So things are happening around us. Everybody wants to mind his business. Nobody wants to get hurt. But then it could be you. It could be your daughter. In fact, it is your daughter. I bet if you ask some of your children what they go through, so that as a girl, you don't say things like this. You can walk up to your father and say, "This happened to me on the road," and it really feels terrible. This has happened to me before in Yaba Market. Then I was quite young. I was a teenager then, and this happened to me. Just different guys. That was the first time my first experience in Yaba Market, because of course growing up my father will not allow you to just go everywhere unsupervised. But then I was growing up, at some point I have to start going out, and it happened to me. Do you know that on the spot I started shivering? I caught fever. You can't imagine what happened. It was just too much for
And
me
they are
to
grown
handle.
men.
Grown men who could even have daughters like
True.
you.
True.
So I just want to say that for the men who are involved in this, I know that we have some sweet men out there, some very responsible men, and you know that we have some men also that will stand up for women in this situation. There are still men like that. Maybe they were not present in our jazz at that point, but then we can do better. If you know that you find it funny, you find it interesting to harass women. I don't know why. I don't know what's funny about it. I don't know what's exciting about. Some men are just predators. And you need to stop it, because one day you're also going to have your own child, and you won't feel good about it. You want to protect your child. You want your child protected, and we want to raise women who are confident, women who are not overly sexualized, women who can do amazing things. Our world will be a better place with that, right?